The quantum shield flickered for the third time in as many seconds, and Lieutenant Marcus Chen knew they were running out of time. Through the translucent energy barrier, he could see the Zithoran war forms closing in, massive biomechanical creatures that blurred the line between organism and machine, their chitinous armor reflecting the dying light of the binary stars overhead. "Your Highness, we need to move now," Marcus said, his neural implant calculating trajectories and probabilities with cold efficiency. Princess Alara Voss of the Terran Diplomatic Corps stood behind him, her ceremonial robes torn and stained with the red dust of this forsaken moon. "They'll cut us down before we reach the extraction point," Alara said, her voice steady despite the fear Marcus could detect in her elevated heart rate through his biosensor suite. "The telemetry is clear." She was right. Marcus's combat AI projected a 94% casualty probability if they ran. The Zythorans had adapted to human tactics with disturbing speed, their hive intelligence processing battlefield data faster than any conventional military computer. This diplomatic mission had been a trap from the beginning. The shield collapsed with a sound like breaking glass amplified through a cathedral. Marcus didn't hesitate. His exosuit's servos whined as he grabbed Alara and dove forward, placing his armored body between her and the incoming plasma fire. The first bolt struck his left shoulder, overwhelming the suit's ablative plating. Pain signals flooded his nervous system before his combat stims kicked in, dulling the agony to a manageable roar. 2 more hits. His suit's integrity dropped to 47%. The AI suggested immediate withdrawal, but withdrawal meant leaving Alara exposed. Marcus had studied the Zythoran biology extensively during the war. He knew their weapons were designed to incapacitate rather than kill. They took prisoners for their genetic experiments, seeking to understand human physiology, to find weaknesses they could exploit. He couldn't let them take her. Marcus triggered his suit's final protocol. The one they didn't talk about in training, the one that violated 3 articles of the Terran Combat Convention. His fusion core began to destabilize in a controlled cascade. He had 90 seconds before it reached critical mass. "Marcus, no!" Alara screamed as she realized what he'd done. "There has to be another way." "Get behind that rock formation," he ordered, pointing to an outcropping 200 meters away. "The blast shadow will protect you. Extraction team will arrive in 3 minutes. Tell them—" A new sound cut through the chaos, a subsonic hum that Marcus felt in his bones before he heard it. The Zithoran war forms stopped their advance, their compound eyes turning skyward in what Marcus's xenopsychology training recognized as submission. The ship that descended was unlike anything in the human or Zithoran fleet database. Its hull seemed to fold through dimensions that shouldn't exist in normal space-time, its surface adorned with bioluminescent patterns that Marcus's enhanced vision interpreted as both organic tissue and exotic matter. The vessel was vast, easily 3 kilometers long, and it moved with an organic fluidity that defied conventional physics. A lance of violet light engulfed Marcus. His suit's systems went haywire, displaying impossible readings. The fusion core's destabilization reversed, the countdown freezing at 43 seconds. He couldn't move, couldn't speak. His neural implant flooded with data in a language that predated human civilization. The ship's boarding ramp extended, and she descended. The alien queen was humanoid in the way a butterfly is similar to a caterpillar, recognizably related to something familiar, but transformed into something transcendent. Her skin shifted between states of matter, crystalline one moment, liquid the next. Her eyes contained entire star systems, rotating and dying and being born again in endless cycles. She wore no clothing that Marcus could identify, yet seemed dressed in the fabric of reality itself. When she spoke, Marcus heard her voice not through his ears, but directly in his consciousness, translated by some mechanism beyond his understanding. "The male who offers his essence to preserve another," she said, her words carrying harmonics that resonated with the fundamental frequencies of the universe. Such behavior is rare, noteworthy, valuable. Marcus tried to activate his suit's remaining weapons systems. Nothing responded. The Queen moved closer, and with each step, the battlefield seemed to fall away, becoming less real, less relevant. The Zithorans had prostrated themselves completely. Even Ilara had stopped moving, frozen in a temporal stasis field. "You misunderstand," the Queen continued. "I am not your enemy. I am the architect sovereign of the Varathian collective. We have observed this sector for 3,000 of your years, watching species rise and fall, waiting for specimens worthy of preservation." "Preservation?" Marcus managed to force the word through the paralysis. "Your species wars over genetic material, over reproductive rights, over who shall continue and who shall fade into entropy. How primitive. How fascinating." The Queen's form solidified briefly, revealing features that were almost human, almost perfect. "But you demonstrated something we have not witnessed in this galaxy for millennia. True sacrifice. The willingness to unmake oneself for another's continuation." Her hand, or what served as a hand, reached out and touched Marcus's helmet. The armor dissolved like morning mist, exposing his face to the alien atmosphere. He should have suffocated, but he breathed easily, his lungs adapting to the foreign composition. "I claim you," the Queen declared, and the words carried the weight of immutable law. "Not as a slave, not as a subject, as a consort. You will help me understand this curious human capacity for self-destruction in service of others. You will teach my people what it means to value the one over the many." Marcus's mind raced. "And if I refuse? Then I return you to your destabilizing fusion core and your brief, spectacular death." The Queen's expression, if it could be called that, seemed almost amused. "But your princess dies with you. The Zithorans will see to that. They are persistent." Through his peripheral vision, Marcus saw Ilara still frozen, her eyes wide with terror and confusion. He thought of Earth, of his family, of the life he'd chosen in service of humanity's expansion into the stars. He thought of all the things he'd never do, never see, never experience. And he thought of how none of it would matter if Ilara died here. "What guarantees do I have," he asked, "that she'll be safe? That she'll make it home?" The Queen's smile was terrible and beautiful. "My word, which has more value than your species' entire currency reserve." The temporal stasis released. Ilara stumbled forward, gasping. "Marcus, what's happening? What is that thing?" "Extraction arrives in 43 seconds, the Queen said, gesturing toward the sky, where Marcus could now detect the approach of the Terran rescue frigate. "Choose, Lieutenant Chen. Immortality and imprisonment among the stars, or death and honor in your people's memory." Marcus looked at Ilara one last time. At the life he'd had and the eternity he was being offered. The choice wasn't really a choice at all. "I go with you," he said. "But you guarantee her safety, full diplomatic immunity, safe passage to Terran space." "Agreed." The Queen's hand closed around his arm. "Come, my prize. We have much to discuss about the nature of sacrifice, love, and the curious way your species confuses the two." The violet light engulfed him completely. Marcus felt his molecular structure decohering, being rewritten at the quantum level. The last thing he saw before the transformation was Ilara's face, tears streaming down her cheeks, one hand outstretched toward him. Then he was aboard the ship, and the moon was falling away below, and his old life was ending as a new, impossible one began. The alien Queen stood beside him, her form now settled into something almost comprehensible, tall, regal, terrifying in her alien beauty. "Do not mourn your humanity," she said softly. "I am enhancing it, not destroying it. You will be the bridge between our peoples, the first of a new lineage." Through the viewport, Marcus watched the Terran frigate land and extract Ilara. He watched his princess, safe, alive, rescued, disappear into the ship. Mission accomplished, even if not in the way anyone had planned. The Queen's voice echoed in his mind. "Welcome to Forever, Lieutenant Chen. Let us see what wonders we can build together." As the ship folded itself through dimensions unknowable and headed toward a destination Marcus couldn't begin to imagine, he realized that he'd saved more than just a princess. He'd become the proof that humanity's greatest strength, its irrational, beautiful, foolish capacity for sacrifice, had value even among the stars. And somewhere in the depths of space, the alien queen smiled, satisfied with her prize. End.